Hello and welcome back to Xpwaste, where 73 is more than just a number. I'm Michael.
And I'm Oxie. If you're new around here, welcome. We're a podcast that talks about old school RuneScape, and it's the funny number episode because of, 73. I quit RuneScape. Haha. That's this episode. So you tuned in at a very appropriate time if this is your first episode. If it's not your first episode, hello, welcome back. We're still a podcast that talks about old school RuneScape and gets horribly distracted.
Lots of tangents.
Lots of tangents. But you're not new, so you know that. Like you don't need that explanation from me. How have you been, Michael?
I've been pretty well. Just grinding away. I feel like my plans change all the time for this account, but
yeah. How have they changed now?
So I just got 92 agility, and once I get 92 hunter, my account will be at base 92. So I've pretty much resigned myself to getting all of the stats that I have left to 98 and then doing a huge like level up party for max. So that would leave agility, thieving, slayer, and hunter. So once I get to 93 or once I get to 92 hunter, then I'm going to go get another level in agility and then another level in hunter. And then my account will be base 93. And then I'll get base 94s and then base 95s and then work up to 98 and then just send it for max. I don't know how long that'll last, but that's the plan for right now.
That's quite the plan. Well,
yeah. It's just helping me to like skill hop essentially, like being able to train agility and go train slayer and then go train hunter has really been refreshing. I know that in the past I've mentioned that like I've just been able to like put my head down and do it. But agility is way different than all of the other grinds that I've done in the past where rune crafting was not very repetitive. Mining was not terribly repetitive, but at least, you were mining ore and then you were dumping the ore, or I could go do volcanic mine. But with agility, it's literally just thousands of laps around a course, or it's bashing my head against the wall at the sepulcher. And neither of them are grinds that I just want to like put my head down and do. I still have not cleared the time on the 4th floor for sepulcher, which is not a terrible thing because I just got 92. So like if I had cleared the time, there was nothing after that. Like I couldn't go to floor 5. But the advice that I've gotten is to just like get all of the unlocks and just grind as much as I can, learn as much as I can from 1 through 4, and then attempt 5 when I'm there, but like just kind of take it slow, which I'm fine doing. It's agility XP at the end of the day. I was getting like 40k an hour, messing up a lot, which is about how much I get when I'm at Artie, pretty AFK. So it's been good. But yeah, base 92s once I get to 92 hunter, which would be cool, halfway there. But that's like since last week, that's literally the account update at this point. And I guess I can give it a groupie update. So I attempted my second fire cape, or I had my second fire cape attempt last night and ran out of food on wave 44, I think, or 42. So the plan right now is to have my fire cape before this episode gets posted. So I have like 3 or 4 days. So the plan is I got a crystal shield last night because today's Sunday. I streamed on Saturday. I got a crystal shield and I'm going to go and try and use up all the bones that I have, and I'll get 64 prayer. And then by then, the prayer is not going to matter very much. Maybe I can take 1 or 2 less prayer potions, but I'll be able to take more food, and I'll have the crystal shield to be able to tank the rangers a little better. Because like with the rune kite shield and the armor that I was using, I was getting hit like 11s and 12s back to back, and I'm just like, dude, this is not going well. So
yeah, I was gonna say what happened. I was busy last night, but I was still lurking in your stream, and I just sort of noticed that like Things were going well. You were flicking the Rangers. You were lazy flicking the Rangers for a little bit because I saw you at one point. I had your stream on like the lowest volume possible without it being muted. And I look over it and I see you going like this, like throwing your hands up in the air like that. I'm like, that's not the right motion, but I know where you got it from and you're not wrong. Like I know what visual cue you're looking for. And you have a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah. I was making the reference between how they changed the Ranger in the fight caves to the Inferno, because like the one in the fight caves just kneels, but then the one in the Inferno just like absolutely sends it with both arms.
Yeah, it's got like the Boba Fett backpack that it just like shoots a rocket over.
Yeah. Now, from the flicking that you saw, I don't know you can't really.
I 100% was not paying attention.
Okay, I was going to ask if I was doing it right because nobody was letting me know. I mean, I wasn't taking any damage.
So if you weren't taking damage, you were doing it well. And I say that because like if you weren't taking damage when you were trying to flick, but you were taking damage when you were just camping a prayer that wasn't range, you were doing fine because you were still, from what you were saying, like taking a lot of hits, which I'm curious how those hits came. How many melees did you take from things?
I didn't take any melees.
You didn't take any melees? Nothing meleeed you?
Nothing. No, it was all range.
Were you just eating too much? You gotta get comfy on low HP, brother.
So no, I did take some melees from the blobs. Like they would occasionally hit me pretty hard.
That's like chip damage. You can't avoid that.
Yeah.
Like that is, they'll hit you no matter what, those blobs.
I know what I think what my downfall was. So I was getting kind of comfortable, and I took my mage prey off after I killed a major, and I was killing the tiny ones. Oh my God. And I was like ever so late when the new major spawned, and it hit me for 45 and then an 11. And so that was instantly like almost all of my food gone.
There was a moment I looked over at the chat and I saw Shadow in your Twitch chat be like, please don't flick the majors. I was like, oh no, well, Michael, what's happening?
I was theorizing if I could, because I know that you can flick the Rangers, but I think it's just more risky to flick the majors.
You can flick everything. You just have to be in cycle. Or you have to know the...
You have to be good at it.
Yeah, you do have to. It does require being good at it a little bit, which I'm sure we'll talk about today. Today's the episode, I'm sure.
Yeah, so it was good. I mean, I think I ended at wave 42 with like 7 or 8 potions left, full dose.
You had a shitload of restores left. So, I'm like, I mean, you could do it if you don't take any more damage, but like,
I don't think I needed all of those restores because I had what, like 20 something more waves, 23 more waves, and I don't know. Like I did the math on if I just drink 1 dose for every wave, which you don't have to. I had 56 doses to start with, which again, you don't need all of that to begin with. But I'm just hoping that with the Crystal Shield and Higher Prayer, that it'll just be more comfortable and I can still flick the Rangers and I can just not eat as much food going into those waves. Because the Rangers stop at some point and then they come back. So you don't have Rangers the entire time. And that's what I was holding out for. But then I realized from wave 55 all the way to 63 or 62, you have Rangers.
It's wave
61.
Because 61 is double melee, 62 is double mage, and then 63 is good old Jad. So there are some spicy waves there for a little bit where there's a lot of Rangers on the field. Not going to lie. You do get a little bit of respite when the first melee comes out. You get like 3 waves of like just mage melee with bats and like blobs and shit.
Yeah. And I could do that without taking any damage, but I literally had 4 strawberries left. And I think I was at 38 health out of 70. So I just didn't want to waste any more time because I probably could have gotten to like wave 50, probably. But then again, like that's another, 15, 20 minutes and more prayer potions that I'm not even making. TMD's making them for me. And that's his supplies that he's having to gather. So out of respect for the entire team, I was like, I'm just going to do a tactical reset.
Yeah, I don't know. I think your DPS looked fine. I'm not entirely sure you have to flick everything. I saw you using the south safe spot a lot. The southern edge safe spot, which I think if you use another one, you may be prone to taking a little bit less damage from things
Oh.
like blobs. Because I saw you there. I'm like, why is he standing at the south lip? It
Yeah.
was working for the big meleeers, which was important, but
Mhm.
you were still getting kind of assaulted by blobs at some points, which like the big ones won't be able to hit you from either. I think you can go to it's Dragon Rock or Italy Rock. I think I'm an Italy Rock stand myself. That's where I had you mark those tiles.
Yeah. I wasn't using the safe spots very much because I was standing in the middle. So I guess, yeah, I'll use Italy Rock more because there are probably ways that you can avoid taking damage from the Rangers altogether when it's mage in range, right?
Yeah,
'Cause if
some
you
spawns it'll get trapped with some spawns and won't be able to see you. Like if you corner trick them or if they get stuck behind an NPC that's like on a wall. So like it's not impossible to not take any damage. I would utilize the safe spots more only because like they're there for a reason. You know,
Mhm.
there's no need to like be like, oh, I'll just flick the Rangers all the way through. I flicked you saw my fire cape on my GIM. I had to like 2-tick at one point to
Yeah.
keep myself from dying. Uh,
Oof.
and even so, I was safe spotting everything. I
Oh,
was
okay.
like, we're gonna live at Italy Rock to get this fire cave on the GIM because that's the safest and most consistent way to do it. So
Just gotta play it more safe.
yeah, you exactly play it more safe. Don't try to big dick anything. Don't try to run through any NPCs. Just sort of safe spot it like it was your first fire cape ever, and you'll be fine.
I don't know if I'll have my cape before this episode comes out, but that's the plan. So you guys will see it in Discord or you'll be in the stream for it. So that'll be fun. How about you? How did your run go? Let's talk. You want to talk about that, or you want to
I hate
try
this
and
game. I hate this
get it
game
out of
so
your
much.
mind?
Well, I have since we recorded last Sunday, I have been to Zuck 3 times and I have made it to triples 4 times. So I actually just watched the clip. I died at triples because healers just bit my ankles and died. Or I died there. But the last 2 nights, Friday and Saturday, made it to Zuck. Yesterday's attempt was rough. I was in the Inferno while I was watching Michael, and the waves weren't too bad until we got to like wave 56 or so. Then we lost like both pillars, like seemingly back to back, south and west. So it was a little chaotic there, but like the waves are getting a lot better. I'm getting a lot more comfortable just sort of like flicking on the metronome and initiating like flicking if I have to,
Hmm.
or rather alternating. I know again, like if you're talking like pedantically, flicking is like turning it on and off in the same tick to save whatever. It doesn't matter. I was like alternating as I needed to, off ticking enemies as I needed to.
Hmm.
So the waves were feeling fine, but by the time I got to Zuck, I had 1 3/4 restore going into the
Oh,
fight. So it's like I couldn't even afford to turn rigor on, which is like your first mistake. Like always turn rigor on for killing Zuck. That's what I was told in VC. It's like it's not even worth attacking him if you don't have an offensive prayer turned on, unless you're like a super low prayer pure account who has to like flick your offensive prayers. Like just batter him. And it was a matter of like last night was tough because I knew I wasn't going to get it with my supplies, and I died to the ranger on the second set that spawned before 600 HP. That's how badly we were struggling with DPS without rigor turned on. But I mean, moving with the shield was fine. Didn't tank any hits. Tagging it was rough to tag him. I will say it was rough. Yeah, Ralph in the recording booth chat said he thought that was post Jad. No, that was pre 600. That was like pre pause. So last night was brutal. Friday night was devastating. Friday night we were killing Zuck. We had like 6 brews, 4 restores. We were like good to go. Like this was it. This was the cape. And I missed a prayer switch on single Jad when it was like one shot. Jad had like 13 hit points. I had like a flashback to July of 2020 when Jad had like 13 hit points and I missed a prayer switch and got like immediately killed. Like all my remaining HP lost right there. I got hit for like a 69 or something like that. I was devastated. I'm talking like tearing up, biting my lip in VC because I was so goddamn mad that
yeah.
I had messed that up.
Oh,
So
that's
we've been to Zuck in the last week 3 times, and I'm going to continue to send runs because, like I said last week, now even more so, it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen for sure, but there's a non-zero chance I have the cape before this episode comes out.
Oh,
Because I'm just like
yeah,
at
because
this
you're not editing this one.
I haven't seen healers yet, which I understand might be my next holdback. But actually, after last night's run, after the run, I was like, whatever. I'm mad, but I'm not like as furious as I was about it yesterday because I'm just like, that's just like I knew going into Zuck that I was gonna fail, as opposed to Friday night where I was just like, this is the cape, and then I made the most newbie mistake you possibly could, which isn't a bad thing. We'll get to that. But no, I like sat on my couch last night and my cat likes to play fetch sometimes. So she has like these thick plastic springs, and you'll throw them and she'll go "Rah, rah, rah, rah," and chase after them and hunt them and then bring the spring back to you so you can throw it again. She's dumb like that. So I was playing fetch with my cat and I was watching the exact guide just on repeat. I kept going back to like 240, like the home stretch, like that part of the video where it's like healers and killing Zuck. I literally watched that probably like 6 times.
Whoa.
I even went and watched like the tasty video when talking about the Inferno. Like I was watching every like healers and Zuck Inferno guide that popped up because I was like, I'm going to be ready when it comes. I'm still probably going to die a couple more times in the latter half of the fight. Like, you know, it's going to happen, but it's coming. Like the Inferno it's coming.
Inferno cape before achievement diary cape. That's
yeah.
interesting.
You want to know why? Because this cape, the other cape sucks. That's the other thing I've done this week. I sat around while editing and I think I got like 520k thieving XP. And I made like a level and a quarter. Like that. Decent. I hate this skill.
Decent.
So
I don't know why you're not going to pyramid plunder. Like it's so chill.
I understand, but like, and I'm sure we can get to that a little bit, maybe even next week a little bit, because I kind of want to do something special for next week as it is, but we'll talk about it. I don't know. I just CVA with pyramid plunder, especially since like this is brain dead right now. All I have to do is look over and click these bags of coins. Pyramid like it's really good for recording.
Is also brain dead. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah,
like all of the spots are highlighted. You just have to click the green doors, and then every once in a while, when you get to the later waves, like thieve all the urns and then thieve the chest, and you're done.
Later waves. He's stuck in the fight caves, boys. I think I said we were talking about a karaoke night before we started recording, and we said it wouldn't work with Discord. I said, yeah, unless you can sing a tick before the song plays. And the people in the recording booth chat were laughing at me because I said a tick early, and they're like, I'm like, yeah, I think in game ticks now. Not to the extent of like Grandmaster thinking game ticks, but I don't know. We can get into it when we get into the main title content, but that's literally been my week. I have done Inferno. I have failed Inferno. I have stolen GP from an Artie Knight, and then I had an actually delightful Fashionscape stand around session after the Infernal Cape last night.
I saw the pictures in Discord.
Gabe was making fun of me last night or this morning, whenever it was, because there's a picture of me, Jake, and Jesse, and they both have their scythes. Jesse has his like Infernal Cape and his Zuck helm, and it's like her older brother, her ex-boyfriend, and then you, because I just had nothing on. I refused to wear a cape during the Fashionscape thing. I said, yeah, guys, this is my no cape Iron Man main account where I can't wear a cape slot until I get an Infernal Cape.
There you go.
So all my Fashionscape, I didn't have anything on my back, but we had a good time. We were like testing out different fits. People wore some ridiculous stuff. People wore some really cool stuff. We were showing off pets. We also found out that like, and this is not news to anyone, get a group of your friends together in any given world at the Grand Exchange and just start standing next to each other. Whether you're flexing or showing off pets or just looking stupid, just stand next to each other. Eventually, somebody else will show up and stand there too.
Yep.
And then eventually, you'll have dozens of strangers just standing around with you. Where it's like, what happened to all the boys? Oh no, the boys are still here, but now there's 7 other people we've never heard of. There's Binny, there's a character named Ryan, there's someone named Coffee. Like just like, I don't know who these people are, but here they're standing around with us. That's cool. So it just happens like that. It was fun post Cape. Whereas Friday night's post cape was just like upset, gonna
Hit
go
through
play
the wall.
Stardew Valley, pretty head against the wall kind of thing. But
that's the
yeah.
only 69 that's not nice.
Honest to God, getting hit a 69 and dying on wave 69 is the least nice 69 I have ever
That's a
like
pouring out
encountered.
for the boys.
Truly, in my entire life, it was
Ugh.
not fun. But that's where my account's been. I've been doing two things. Like I did Vorkaf a little bit one night, but only
Okay.
for like 25 odd kills. Like, you know, and it's fun, but like I can't wait for one or both of these grinds to be over so that I can just like, I don't know. I'm at a weird stage in my account where it's half I don't want to do anything else, and half I don't feel like I can do anything else. I know the second half is not true. Like I can do whatever I want, but that other half of like, Jesus Christ, I want these grinds to be done with are like really pervasive right now in doing activities in OSRS. So it's like if I'm not thieving, I'm in the Inferno. And if I'm not in the Inferno, I'm thieving. And if I'm not doing either one of those things, there's a non-zero chance I'm just not playing RuneScape.
Right.
So
it's an interesting balance at your stage right now, because normally I would just tell you, hey, take it slow. It doesn't matter if you get it. But at this point, it's been a long time. To say that is like, well, at this point, dude, it's been like 6-8 months. 10. Not of doing the same thing.
It's been 10 of committing to the Inferno. It's been about
and committing to the Inferno, right? So like, if you were a month in and you were going this hard, I'd be like, Oxie, go and kill some mole or something. But at this one, it's like, I support you in that decision of just like putting your head down and grinding it out. And if you're not doing that, then don't burn yourself out too hard and just do something else. You know what I mean?
And
it's an interesting place to be in.
It's really weird, and it's not one I would recommend for anyone else either, because this is not. It's kind of taking a lot of fun away from the game that I find to be quite fun all the time. But no, I will say it does feel good to be like almost done. Feels good to be almost done, and not almost done in the sense that like yes, I almost have 90 thieving, and then once I have 90, I basically have 91. I just have to sit here for a couple thousand more pickpockets or whatever it is. But the cape, it truly, it feels good. It's coming because of how close we're getting, and then
the finish line is there.
And it also sucks because I have other goals beyond the Infernal Cape. I want to finally learn Fazani's Nightmare so I can get that damn tablet and that egg to make my Nightmare pet look even stupider. I want to learn Solo Chambers so I can start pushing for the Master Combat Diaries. Obviously, I want to be really good at TOA as well, which an Infernal Cape is not going to determine whether or not I'm good at Tombs of a Masket. I don't know. There's just a lot of other things that like I have goals for. I want to, you know, let's do some more challenge modes. Let's do some more PVM things that we're not necessarily used to doing.
Can I blow your mind real quick? An Infernal Cape is not going to make you better at any of that.
Well, we'll get to that, but it's not the cape itself that will make you better. But we will get to that. We will get to that. It's less a matter of the cape will make me better and more about like I want to have it done so I don't have to worry about it. You know?
Yeah.
Like I
get that.
Like it's like once we cross this milestone, we're literally going to be coasting. You ever seen the picture of the dude like water skiing with the big cruise ship in the background? Where it's like the main quest line is the big cruise ship and the dude water skiing is like me doing all the side quests. Like that's where I feel like I'm going to be at. Yeah, so I mean, once these grinds are done, I think RuneScape is going to be a lot more fun again. Because truly, these feel like the main quest lines. These feel like once both of these capes are done, we don't have shit to do other than hang out with the boys. I was saying last night because Jesse asked me, he's like, so when you get the cape, are you going to get the Jad transmog? And I said, absolutely, I am. It's going to be the most like drunken foolery we've ever had, and I'm just gonna like take a drink every time Oxie dies at Jad. We are gonna be absolutely toasted in VC or on Twitch or whatever it is, and we're just gonna go over and over and over again because the beautiful part about multiple Jads is while it's definitely going to be frustrating, it doesn't matter because you can just go back in and try it again. It saves your
Yeah.
progress. Once you kill 4, you don't have to kill 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5.
No
You can just
way.
kill 5 over and over and over and then kill 6. So
That's pog, dude.
eventually we're going to get the Jad Frog Transmog, the Jaltalk Jad. We're going to get it. But it's going to be so much different from what the Inferno has been of like, I need to become the most elite player ever in order to get this. And like, let's make some mixed drinks and just get shitty drunk when Oxie's doing Tis Rex challenge.
The trans frog.
Get out of my podcast. I'm looking for a new co-host. Oh my God.
I'll apply.
Darn, the freaking frog's gay.
Oh, that's fun though. I can't wait for that. There's,
Yeah.
I think, a whole new world of RuneScape is going to be open to you that you haven't experienced like in the last year, because it's just been these overarching monolithic goals. Not saying that 91 thieving is monolithic.
It feels like it, Jesus Christ. We've met goals, but like we've gotten 99s, we've gotten our elite combat diary. Like we've certainly met goals this year, but like
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I don't know. I'm just ready for it to be done and over with. But
Yeah.
so that's how I've been. Also in non-RuneScape news, I tamed my first Giganotosaurus in Ark, and we have our army is ready. We need to make sure they're all fully healed, and we're finally going to ascend off the island for the first time ever in a single player game. In Ark. Completely not relevant to the show, but what I've been doing outside of RuneScape. When I said I'm not playing, that's probably what I'm doing. Either playing Stardew or raising T-Rexes in Ark. So we're killing it.
I regret to say that I have not been like XP wasting very much. Like I've basically only been playing RuneScape for like the last probably month.
You were the chosen one.
I played a little Minecraft with my wife, but that was a long time ago. So I think I need to dial it back a little bit. But I mean, I've just been kind of motivated. So there's really nothing wrong with. I say it every time.
If you're motivated, play the game, dude.
Yeah, like you have the itch, scratch it. That's been my mantra for like the last month and a half. It's like I've had the itch and I am scratching it because I gave myself that soft deadline, hard deadline, whatever you want to call it, of maxing by March 9th. And every day I log in, I'm like, I have less membership than I had yesterday. So better get grinding, baby. Oh man. What are we talking about today, buddy?
So we've gotten several requests to kind of talk about when to start doing PVM. We get it all the time, whether it's people asking us directly like about the podcast, people asking in our Discord, or people asking us in voice chat, like, when am I ready to do X?
Mm-hmm.
And transition isn't the right word, because when you think transition, you're transitioning out of something into something else, implying that whatever you're transitioning out of, you're not going to return to, which in the case of PVM is just not true. Like it's seldom going to be a time where you move on to a high level boss and then never go back to a low level boss for whatever reason that may be. So transition isn't quite the right word.
Mm-hmm.
More of like an evolution, I suppose, maybe
of combat.
An evolution of combat. Dun dun dun. In episode 73, how could you? We're an RS3 podcast now, boys.
Oh no.
No, but like, kind of, I guess, like dipping your toes into higher level PVM. Like, when do you sort of jump off the deep end with it? If that, maybe that's a better way to word it. Like, when do you go into the deep end of the pool? Because you're still in the same body of water and you can go back to the shallow end, but now it's time to, like, we're leaving the 3-foot wade around, drink with a margarita in your hand, and like now we're actually having to swim.
Right. Like, when do you venture into endgame PVM?
Yeah.
Because like we said last week, you can be in the mid game and end game simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
Just depending on what you're doing and how you look at it. So say you're pretty advanced, but you feel like you're stuck at Seracnus, you're stuck at Barrows. When do you start to venture into things like raids, Slayer bosses, that kind of stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess Slayer would be a good place to start, to be honest, because that was probably my first real introduction into the world of bossing.
Mm-hmm.
Before raids came out, you had a Slayer level to get to, and that was where you could choose, oh, do I want to kill the baby variant or do I want to kill the big bad boss? Kraken is one of them. Grotesque Guardians, Cerberus, those are all kind of your early-ish big bosses that you can kill. I mean, I would say Sire also is in there. But yeah, you have more, I would say, experience. So I'm gonna let you lead this one, but I'll be here for some good commentary.
Michael brings up a good point. Slayer is a great place to start. If you're like, how do I do bossing? How do I start bossing? Start with Slayer bosses. The first Slayer boss you're going to run into is Grotesque Guardians. So you're going to fight Dusk and Dawn. It's kind of overwhelming at first because you are fighting two bosses at the exact same time, but they're mechanically different than what you've seen prior.
Mm-hmm.
You can't protect yourself against all the damage. There's a plethora of special attacks and area of effect attacks that you have to be aware of. And you have to bring hybrid gear because one of them has to be attacked with range, one of them has to be attacked with melee. On paper, if you're going from like KBD, Mole, Crazy Archaeologist, even Seracnus, right? It's kind of an upgrade in intensity of a boss fight, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
Now, if you're listening and you have, if you've got the Verzik Slayer helm and 10 Infernal Capes, like obviously no, Grotesque Guardians are not the most difficult thing in the world. But we're trying to think like this is your first time getting into it. I did not have a great time with Grotesque Guardians when I first started because, again, it is mechanically different than what you have seen before. That's a really good point. Start with a Slayer goal. Slayer bosses get, I don't want to say incrementally more difficult. They get more rewarding the more you go up the list. That's for sure. Because Grotesque Guardians will make you a little bit of money. Sire could make you good money if you get a bludgeon. Even whips and daggers, like it sucks, but that's a free 2 to 5 mil,
Mm-hmm.
The regular drops from Sire aren't too bad. Kraken is a money pit, but I would say it's an easy pet chance. We have some people in TNL who would disagree with me. Then you get to Cerberus, which can make you pretty decent money, although I think Cerberus sucks. Thermi is a very relaxing Slayer boss, and then Hydra is a money printer.
Yeah.
Hydra is... There's a lot of shit going on at Hydra, but it is a money printer. And once you learn how to do Hydra, it's over. You truly don't ever have to worry about like... I'm gonna say this at this point in the episode, and I kind of want to carry this throughout the entirety. If I say things like it becomes mechanical or brain dead or you don't have to worry about it, I don't mean when you first start. Yeah, I guess this is good for like all point. PVM. Like if someone says something is easy, they don't mean it's easy when you first attempt it. Always necessarily, right? I think Hydra is very easy. You count to 3, you get an animation, and you run around the room in a square until the boss dies. It only gets a little spicy at the very end when you have to Jad flick, but even then is more of like you have to know what you're on, whether it's range or mage, and then you're good. I died the first several times trying to attempt Hydra because it's not easy to start with. So I kind of want to throw that out there as a theme for the whole episode. If we ever say something is simple, we don't mean your first KC should be like that.
With the exception of Kraken, I think anybody on any account with the proper gear could roll up to Kraken and kill it without touching their mouse.
My mom could do Kraken. I'm not like, okay.
With the exception
of like Kraken, yes. But
for a level 87 Slayer boss, it's quite disappointing. And we've already talked about that in past episodes, but
it's because it's broken. So who knows? Yeah. So yeah, again, for those of you who don't know, Kraken, you just sort of toss a fishing explosive in and then use mage and kill the boss. And when I say use mage and kill the boss, I mean you don't overhead prey. You don't have to switch prayers. You don't have to bring different gear. You might have to eat one manta ray or shark because you will take damage from the tentacles.
Mm-hmm.
But the boss will seldom hit you. You're good. Truly, you're good.
It's insane.
You don't have to bring prayer pots. Like Kraken, the only exception is Kraken because Kraken is an easy boss.
Mm-hmm.
But all the other ones, like an example of a boss I think is easy nowadays is Zulrah.
Oh,
Come on,
interesting.
no. Zulrah is so easy for me. I love doing hybrid Zulrah. We go in, bring
Mm-hmm.
full switches, running around the arena. It's awesome. Zulrah is one of the hardest bosses to learn. To learn,
To learn, yes.
I would argue in the entire game. Zulrah is horribly difficult to learn.
It's either that or Gauntlet, but I'll give them both high marks for being hard to learn.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, compared to like Verzik, Fazani's, Inferno, no, probably not more difficult than that. But like,
No.
when getting into learning bossing, Zulrah is horribly difficult. But back to the original point of Slayer. Slayer's a great goal. Push for 75 and start doing Grotesque Guardians. You might love it. You might hate it. I don't necessarily love Grotesque Guardians because I at this point think they're a bit repetitive. But I know a lot of people love them. A lot of people love gargoyle tasks. Have you ever done Guardians, Michael?
I just looked up my KC and I have 6 KC.
Hell yeah.
Not really.
I don't even know how many
I
KC
really
have.
should.
I think I might have 250 because you had to do it for the Elite Diary. I have 258 because I had to do it for the Elite Combat Diary before the KCs got nerfed. So yeah, I've done them enough. Not a ton, but enough. So yeah, Slayer, fantastical. If you're like, I don't know where to start, train Slayer to level 75 and beyond. It sucks because you don't get another boss though until 85.
85,
if I'm correct, you don't get another boss until 85.
You do get other unlocks. So I was looking at it, and 75 is Guardians, and then I think like 77 is Brutal Black Dragons, which are also pretty good. But you get some pretty notable Slayer unlocks, like Necrils are at 80, and then 85 is the next big milestone.
But even then, like Necreals don't have a boss mechanic to learn.
Right. We're talking about bossing, but
yeah, Necreals are like pray melee and stack them all up in the catacombs, which maybe we could make a little video for Xpwaste on how to do that. I think that would be fun if we started doing like mini 3-minute tutorials on like how to do things in RuneScape, and we put them on the Xpwaste channel of like, here's how you stack up Necreals in the catacombs of Kourend, where you just click back and forth. It's like a 90-second video. It's not very hard. It's not very long, but just shows people how to do it because some people don't know. And that's who we're trying to reach here, the people who don't know, because there's nothing wrong with not knowing. Like we said last week, you can't know what you don't know. So now is kind of like we said, though, we are going to be pushing you guys to do a little bit more this week. So let's talk about, I guess before we get into anything else, let's talk about some big notable ones. Let's talk about Jad, Michael.
Big boy Jad.
Big boy Jad. Let's talk about Jad.
Yeah. I think that a fire cape is obtainable by pretty much anybody in the mid game. It's going to be nerve-wracking. Like the experience for me on my second attempt on my groupie, like I actually was feeling tinges of being nervous whenever I got to the mage phase. Like majors were out, you have to pray mage the entire time, and now that's when the fight caves start. Every other wave, it's manageable, but whenever those majors come out, that's, for me at least, with I think I have maybe 8 KC total on my main account, maybe less than that, because once you have a fire cape, there's really no reason to go back unless you're trying to get music tracks or you want to get a pet or you're doing a task. That's a big one, but
Jad is really good Slayer XP. Holy shit! If you guys
it's like
want
35k or something.
Yeah, it's like an extra 20 or 25k for killing Jad, plus all the XP you get from the actual thing. So it's about 35,000 Slayer XP for one task. That can be like a half an hour if you're super quick.
Pretty powerful.
But again, if you're trying to get it to PVM, you're probably not super quick in the fight caves, and that's okay.
Yeah, I think I did it pretty lazily on my main account for a task, and I was at like 45 minutes. And that's with decent gear. I did it with a blowpipe, I think. So you can do it. But Jad is up there. And I say that as somebody who without much experience. Oxie, on the other hand, would not say that Jad is up there. Jad, he fought 3 of those guys.
I would say Jad is up there not because of the boss, because of the pressure. Mechanically, Jad's the easiest thing in the world. It attacks every 8 game ticks, or like 4 seconds, something like that, however long it is. I think it's like 4.8 seconds is 8 game ticks. You have at least like 2 seconds to react to the attack. So somebody recently posted something in one of our channels that was like the variants of Jad, where it's true Jad, pseudo Jad, and false Jad.
I saw that.
Where like a true Jad is, it makes an animation, you have to react to the animation, and then you pray accordingly to it. Again, mechanically, Jad is easy as shit. The only thing you have to kind of manage is the healers, and like tagging the healers can be super stressful. What's always been the problem with Jad since 2005 when it came out? What's been the issue with Jad? The pressure behind the boss. If it's my first cape took me like an hour and a half ish, maybe more, hour 40 to get, as I safe spotted everything. And this is the feeling I'm going through a lot right now of nothing is more soul crushingly disheartening than spending an hour and a half in an encounter just to fuck up a prayer switch at the last possible second and die. Make an easy mistake and die at the last second. The pressure behind Jad is what makes the boss difficult. You know, I can think of 20 bosses that are harder than Jad and more accessible. Like Kriara is more difficult than Jad. I would argue, because you're taking constant damage. You have to know how to manage Kriara as well as all the minions at the same time. You're going to get beaten like a redheaded stepchild no matter what you do, because that's just how Kriara works. I don't love Kree, if you haven't come across it yet. But if you die at Kree, you can get an ecumenical key and go right back.
Right back to the boss.
Better at the boss.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas with Jad, you can't necessarily do that because there's a time investment. There's a supply investment, especially if you're a lower level account that needs to make money for prayer pots, or you're an Iron Man that needs to farm the supplies yourself. Like there is a lot of pressure that goes into that. So if you don't have your first fire cape yet and you're listening to this episode, that's fine. Truly, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with like, damn, this boss is hard, because your first fire cape is hard. There's a reason we shout it out in Achievement of the Week. It's not an easy feat to do the first time. Again, the better you get at the game, the easier these mechanics come. Me talking about my first fire cape run and me talking about my most recent fire cape run, where I was pissed because I failed my objective. I missed my PB by like 4 seconds.
Dang.
And I didn't get a sub 30. That's what I get mad about in the fight caves now. Because I speed run, I pray rigor the whole time. I bring stamina potions. Like, I don't have a T-bow, and when I get a T-bow, I imagine it will be even faster. But like, you know, the better you get at it, the more spicy some of the mechanics can get. Like, you can start speed running it, and you know, you think about it and you talk about it differently. But you know, from the standpoint of someone who either just got a first cape or doesn't have a first fire cape yet, Jad is difficult. And it's not because Jad himself is hard, it's because the pressure that goes into that fight makes it hard.
Yeah.
That said, you can get a damn fire cape. You can. I'm looking at you specifically. Not you, Michael. I'm looking at you. That's right, you. Get your damn fire cape before Raids 3. You can do it. I said we were going to push you this episode. Get your damn fire cape before Raids 3. You can do it. You really can.
Comes out in a week, I think, after this episode. Or
It'll
2 weeks.
Be 6 days when this episode comes
6
out.
days. Damn.
6 days when this episode comes out. Also, part of the reason why we're talking about it is because we want people to like get into bossing, which we do have an event for that planned as well. Little tidbit that we should have mentioned earlier. We are doing an event. This episode comes out on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're doing some bossing events. Probably going to do a little bit of Barrows, maybe a little bit of God Wars Dungeon, a little bit of DKs. Maybe, I don't want to make any promises, but maybe we might do some learner chambers. I only say maybe because we need a lot more bodies to be able to teach chambers and to run chambers, because nothing says awful than 2 teachers and 7 learners in a chamber, says Eric. So we might be able to do some chambers if we got some teachers around. And we say that because like teaching the raid versus getting carried through the raid different. They're longer experiences. So we might be able to throw some chambers in there. But this weekend, so if this episode comes out on Thursday, I think it'll be the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st. We'll be doing some fun bossing events. Nothing to make anybody a crazy amount of money. Nothing that's super has a whole lot of pressure to it. Just in the evening on the weekend, you at EST, we'll be doing some bossing together. I'll be there for I think at least 2 of the nights. I think I have to go home on Saturday for a little while, so I don't think I'll be there on Saturday, but you know, we'll be there. So come hang out with us this weekend and do PVM with us while we get people excited for Raids 3. But
Our Discord link is in the description if you want to join.
Yes. So get your damn fire cape this week.
That'll be me. Hopefully.
Yeah, that will be you. Maybe we'll both get our capes this week. Who knows?
Ooh-hoo-hoo.
Maybe we'll both have capes for the episode's release, you know?
That'd be good.
I guess we should talk about some gear here as well.
Okay. Gear is a big one. Holy cow.
Gear is big, and it's weird because gear is big until a certain point, and then gear just sort of like plateaus in a lot of cases, if that makes sense. Where upgrades get marginally better, and some items are extremely niche and do well at some places. But what am I going to say, Michael? What 3 pieces of gear do you need to get?
Trident, blowpipe, abyssal whip.
Yes. I would say those, like having those 3 is essential for getting into player versus monster. And I mean like for real, you know, because I'm not like having a scythe versus having a whip is like night and day at some of these bosses. Theater of Blood, Bandos, you know, Cerberus, night and freaking day.
The big thing though is like, yes, we always push getting the weapons, but I think the cape slot that associates with that is also very important. Because if you're rolling up with a trident and you don't have your Mage Arena cape, what are you doing? I'm not saying you need to have an assembler. Like Dragon Slayer 2 is not a requirement for using a blowpipe, but at least have the mid-range one. You know, 50 range to get that? You already have 75 if you're using a blowpipe. And then if you're using a whip, you know, get your fire cape, like Oxie just said. I would argue Mage Arena 2 cape if you're going to be using a trident, but a Mage Arena 1 cape will do just fine.
I'm going to counter this, right? Yes, get your damn fire cape. Why do we say get your Mage Arena 2 cape?
DPS?
Yes, Mage Arena 2 cape. What it does differently than the first Mage Arena cape is it has a magic damage boost. I think it's like a 2% damage boost. Let me actually double check that. I want to say, yeah, it gives a 2% magic damage boost on top of a little bit of extra accuracy, right? Maybe it doesn't have accuracy. I'm not entirely sure. Get it. If you have, because you have the stats for it, right? If you have a Trident of the Swamp, you have the stats for the Mage Arena.
Oh, that's true.
So magic level's not a question there. It's going to be uncomfortable and really boring to do the 100, 300 god spells, whatever you have to do to unlock being able to use them outside. And killing the bosses can be a smidge tedious, you know, with having to run around and find them in the wilderness and take all the damage from the locator orb or whatever it is. But do it. If you have a Trident of the Swamp, there's no reason you shouldn't have a Mage Arena 2 cape. Do it like today. As far as the assembler goes, the assembler I'm a little bit more up in the air about, only because you're right, Dragon Slayer 2 does have a little bit of a more, it's got a bigger skill gap, not in terms of like, are you good at the game, but like literally you have to have a lot of skills, like numbers wise, you have to have high skill levels to be able to do it. Vorkath, I really enjoyed Vorkath. I know people can struggle with, but I really did enjoy Vorkath when I first started learning it with my blowpipe and my regular void, you know, and my Ava's accumulator or whatever I was taking with me. Vorkath is doable. So if you're at the point where you don't have an assembler, make the assembler a goal, especially if you already have a blowpipe.
For sure.
If you don't have a toxic blowpipe and don't have an assembler, get a blowpipe first, then get the assembler.
Yeah.
Unless you're an Iron Man, in which case RIP, brother. You might have to use RCB.
Yeah.
But the reason I say that is because Vorkath without a blowpipe or a Dragon Hunter Lance or a Dragon Hunter crossbow sucks. You're talking really long kills, like
There's not much else. Yeah. There's really nothing else that is good enough to kill Vorkath efficiently, where you're not spending 10 minutes trying to kill it.
Yeah, and again, like you can kill it in whatever. You can Ruby Bolt Vorkath down with a rune crossbow. You can do it. You're not gonna like it, but you can do it. But I would definitely say Michael is right. Strive for not only the trifecta, but the back equipment, the cape slot that goes with that. Get your damn fire cape, get your damn Mage Arena 2 cape, and really push for getting the assembler too. If you already have it, you're cheering. Or if you have Dragon Slayer 2 done and are just like, oh my god, I CBA with Vorkath. This specific group of people, if you have DS2 done, but don't love Vorkath, read my mind. Go get your damn backpack.
Right, because yes, you have a guarantee at 50, but you could get it at 4KC. You could get it at 15. You never really know, but you're guaranteed to get it at least 50.
Yeah, and the best part of that, Michael, what's the best part of being guaranteed at 50? No matter how many heads you get before 50KC, you'll still get ahead at 50KC. So even if you get 10 heads, you have 10 assemblers by the time you get to 50, you're going to get your 11th head at 50. If you have DS2 done, but don't like Vorkath, it's time to learn it, baby. That's the point of this episode. Time to learn Vorkath. Use your blowpipe, use your full void, wear or
salve.
Do Vorkath.
Salve.
Yeah.
Don't forget your salve. Well. Yep.
Which I guess like as far as other gear, you know, for I know this isn't like a what gear to buy, but should you prioritize getting void for doing PVM?
Yes, in some cases, but I don't think it's all that necessary. Early in your mid game grind, because we're talking about mid gamers trying to get into PVM, right? So I can think of maybe 2 or 3 places where actual void, not elite void, is suitable, but you really want to wait. I think, and this is my opinion, I think you should wait to push for void until you're getting close to like unlocking elite void.
I could see that, yeah, because the difference with elite void is really nice, I will say. The one place I would suggest using void, funny enough, is Vorkath. Like if you're learning, bring void for range. Void range at Vorkath it's real nice. I think that's actually what you bring when you're using like DHCB. You bring like elite void range with you.
Yeah,
because of the damage bonus or whatever it is. But yeah, I think void is nice. I don't know if I would put void as like the most essential, you know, because again, when it comes to gear, like fighter torso is really nice, but fighter torso has a commitment, like we talked about. It has the you need a team to be able to get the fighter torso. You know, you can do it on your own. Fighter torso is nice, void is nice.
On the topic of fighter torso, I was thinking back to this most recent fighter torso grind that I did on my groupie, and it only took like maybe 6 queen kills. So it takes maybe like 20, maybe 30 minutes if you're slow per queen kill. And it's like 2 hours. So if you can get a consistent, 20 to 30 minute queen kill, you'll have your fighter's torso in like 2 hours. So join a Discord. Doesn't have to be ours, but there's probably other people out there who are also wanting to get their fighter's torso, or there's people who will play Barbarian Assault with you because they want to get level 5 in all of their roles. And you only need 5 people. You could take randoms, but that's risky because if one person drops out, you guys all have to restart. So we have in our Discord, there's a channel called Team Search, and you can do @Barbarian Assault, and that will tag everybody with that role. Most of those people will drop what they're doing or commit to playing with you within whatever time periods. They're like, hey, if you post it in the morning, like, hey, when I get off work tonight, we're going to do some Barbarian Assault. Most people would be like, yeah, just hit me up. Because there's a lot of people in our Discord that will still go back for one of 3 reasons. They need their torso. They're trying to get level 5 enrolls, or they just want high gamble points for the pet. It happens all the time. So
Yeah.
join a Discord, join our Discord. Fighter's torso is annoying, but it's not as annoying as you would think. Because we played up the Barbarian Assault like sucks, but having just did it, it doesn't suck that bad. Really doesn't.
Yeah, and you can do it with whoever too. I think Alagio in the recording booth chat asked if I'm on a GIM, do I have to do it with my group? No, you can do it with anybody.
Yep. That would have been real crappy of them to do that if it like ruined your prestige. But no, it doesn't.
Yeah. So there is that fighter torso as well, in addition to Void. Can't talk about gear without talking about Barrow's gloves. Get your Barrow's gloves. I don't care. You don't have an excuse. This is one. If you're like, oh, I want to start doing PVM, there's no reason to not have Barrow's gloves. It's quests. There is no quest boss you will fight on the road to Barrow's gloves that is going to be more difficult than what you will face in PVM. Promise you that. Even
That's
somebody like
true,
Dessus, who's gonna slap the shit out of you, or the Gelatinoth Mother, or the Culinoromancer, who's gonna hit you. None of them are gonna be harder than what you're gonna do with PVM. So Barrow's gloves is absolutely no excuse. I should make Barrow's gloves a hard requirement to do anything in TNL, because like there's no reason if you want to get into PVM you shouldn't have Barrow's gloves, right? Obviously there's nothing wrong with not having them, but if you want to start PVMing, it's time to start questing, baby. Yeah, Barrow's gloves are where it's at.
As a low level Iron Man, it was dicey for a minute, because at least with Desert Treasure, fighting the guy in the snow plane where your stats are ticking down, I had to tele out, and I had to have a super restore just to fight it. So it can be a little dicey. I know that it's doable, but on a main account there's no excuse. There's literally no excuse.
Yeah,
you can just buy that stuff and it's cheap. But on an Iron Man it's a little bit more of a commitment. Now, one tip that I have found out that people don't know is you can leave the encounter between each fight when you're fighting the end, like when you're going to get to the Culinoromancer guy. You can leave between each fight. There was a guy on our Discord, I think it was Trillion. He said that he fought all of the bosses in that fight back to back without leaving because he didn't know that he could leave. And I'm like, that is an elite gamer in the making, because that fight, each one of those 4 or 5 fights that you have to do, extremely like resource intensive, because you can't use prayer while you're in there. They just it's disabled.
Oh yeah, by the way, you can't use prayer while you're in there. But that's what I didn't want to tell you about last time we talked about RFD together, because I was waiting for you to figure it out on your own, because I knew you hadn't done it.
Oh my gosh. It's hard. It's hard. But like Oxie said, it's not going to be any harder than what you're going to face when, for instance, you have new mechanics that you deal with, like with Grotesque Guardians. So Barrow's gloves are essential for any sort of endgame PVM. There's people who have done it without the Barrow's gloves because they just can't stand questing, but I don't think that should be a blocker or something that holds you back, because they're free. They're literally free.
Now, on the topic of gear, just to sort of wrap this end up a little bit and start talking about some other things. Buying a cult necklace, they're maybe 600k. They give a 10% magic damage boost. Either 10 or 15. Whatever it is, it's ridiculously high. For as cheap as the occult necklace is, a 10% magic damage boost, that's hella max hits right there, you know? Additionally, Amulet of Fury, go for it. If obviously the 4 Zenites are way better than a Fury, like a Torture will add more max hits than a Fury will, but a Fury can be taken everywhere and has a prayer bonus. So if you're a little bit strapped for cash, you don't know what to buy to get an upgrade, buy a Fury. Slow down on the Blood Fury. Don't buy a Blood Fury yet, because whatever you're doing, you probably don't need it yet. Blood Fury uses charges regardless of what style you're using. So even if you're using range with a Blood Fury, you will still use charges. Blood Shards, I think, are like 6 times the price right now of a Fury. They're like they're like 8 mil, something like that. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't looked it up. But Blood Shards to charge a Blood Fury are pretty pricey. So maybe don't invest in a Blood Fury maybe until you get into like a Nightmare or Theater of Blood. Maybe like you don't really There's not too many places where you would like need it. Although it is nice. It is nice at Calfight Queen. But
Yeah.
that's just, again, that's more of like a luxury than anything else. Dragon boots, cheap as heck. You can wear dragon boots everywhere. Get yourself some God D'hide boots if you're a main account. Really good range bonus. Magic boots, don't. Just don't even bother. You can wear mystic boots. It doesn't matter. Because what's more important with magic is the damage boost and the accuracy. Accuracy is important. You obviously have to be able to hit the boss to be able to do anything, but the magic damage boost of the occult, of the cape, if you have the money, the tormented, but again, it's not the end of the world if you don't have the money to buy a Zenite. If you only have the money for one Zenite, I would either buy a Suffering or an Anguish. But again, neither here nor there. Ring slot, Berserker ring. That's it.
Imbue it.
Imbue it. You can buy an Archer's ring, but it only gives accuracy. And it's, again, once you have a blowpipe with amethyst darts or adamant darts, truly just wear a Berserker ring. There's also an argument for a Brimstone ring, which gives a little bit of everything. Brimstone ring's not too bad. I've never been a Brimstone ring wearer myself, but if you're looking for something that you can hybrid across all styles, nothing wrong with a Brimstone ring. Although I do find that I camp a Berserker ring pretty much everywhere.
I used a Brimstone ring when I was doing early learning of chambers because you just don't have to worry about, switches. Not that I'm bringing ring switches, but it is kind of nice. And I don't think it's terribly expensive.
It's not. No, Brimstone ring, I think maybe it's what? 3 mil? Let's look it up. Brimstone ring, yeah, it's 3.7 mil. So not horribly expensive. We just watched Young Mac and our CC make 8.5 mil back to back in Barrow's chest because Barrow's items are really expensive right now for some reason. So it's not going to be terrible to make 3.7 mil if you know how to do a little bit of PVM as it is. So Brimstone ring is not a bad shout, but I would certainly say the Berserker ring provides a strength bonus, which doubles if you imbue it. So again, no reason not to imbue it. Don't care if you hate Nightmare Zone. No reason not to have imbued stuff, truly. Same thing with the Slayer Helm. No reason not to imbue it.
Yeah, but it's not just Nightmare Zone anymore. You can go to Soul Wars and you can do the new PvP arena to imbue stuff.
I know. Doesn't matter what method. There's no excuse to not imbue it. This is us pushing you guys to do this. There's no excuse to not have your things imbued. Yeah. It doesn't matter if you enjoy the content or not. What you'll be able to do with the imbued is going to be so much more fun than the hours you had to spend at NMZ or Soul Wars or the arena or wherever. Doesn't matter. Imbue your stuff. So, I mean, again, you have the trifecta. You have all the gear that Michael and I have talked about. I don't think we're really missing anything. The only thing I could possibly think of is ammo slot. And do your diaries. Please do the Karen diary, at least the medium diary, so you have the prayer bonus for melee and mage. And then you might have some ammo if you're using range, but you won't have ammo if you're using a blowpipe or a bofa.
That is a good point to bring up because a lot of people think that Addy darts are still viable, but those got nerfed. So don't use rune darts, don't use Addy darts, use amethyst darts. And I mean, we're not talking to the people who are going to be using dragon darts, but if you do I'm bitches. If you have the money, I guess, and this relates to you, maybe throw some dragon darts in the blowpipe, but amethyst will get you there.
Let me speak to you directly. If you're listening to this podcast trying to get advice for PVM and you have the money for dragon darts, you don't have the money for dragon darts. I'm telling you straight up, you don't have the money for dragon darts. Spend it on literally anything else before you buy dragon darts.
Yeah,
because you'll see them go, especially if you don't have an assembler. Ooh, they're gone.
Oh yeah,
you're not saving a lot of those darts. But as far as higher level weapons, Sang Staff, Tentacle Whip, Bofa, T-Bow, Armadillo Crossbow, which is not worth it, period, by the way. Armadillo Crossbow, I feel like, has fallen into such a strange place of like, if you're an Iron Man, you can use it at the Inferno, or you can maybe use it at Nex.
Yeah, Armadillo Crossbow is kind of, it's like the Edge, Microsoft Edge meme, where it's like, what do you do? Or it's like, what am I good for? You download Chrome. The Armadillo Crossbow is like, what am I good for? You make a Zarite crossbow.
Yeah, that's kind of where it's at. I mean, you can strive to have some of those things, You can make that push if that's something you're interested in, to have some of that higher level gear, because Some of it really does unlock new content. I would not be in the Inferno if I did not have a Bofa,
Right.
right? I would not be as proficient at Tom if I didn't have, A, if I didn't have teachers, which I'm sure I'll talk about, but B, the scythe really does make a huge difference. I've heard the T-bow really changes the game at a lot of places, but it's not something you drastically need. It's good. I'm not downplaying how good any of these items are, but they're not so necessary that they're a barrier for entry.
Yeah.
I would argue, other than like hard mode Tom, you don't need a scythe to do anything. And you can even do hard mode without a scythe. You're just not going to have a good time. Like,
now, this is all pending a new raid. So if you're listening to this and it's like a year later or months after TOA, we have no idea what TOA is going to bring to the game and what gear or new meta or any of that is going to bring in with the new raid, because it always happens. So keep that in mind if it's now like December of 2022 and you're like, guys, the Fang, what about the Fang? We don't have any of that in the game right now. It's like a week out.
But here's the thing. Osmumpton's Fang, the Ward of Elidnus, the Shadow of Temekin, all the new the archer gear, what's it called? Range gear that's coming out. You don't need any of it to start PVMing. You don't.
That's true.
It doesn't matter what TOA brings to the table. None of the rewards from Tombs of a Masket are going to become essential to start PVM. I promise you, they're not going to become essential. Are they going to make the difference at I am so excited to get my hands on one of those shadows and just beat the ever-living shit out of Zulrah with it. Something that it has an increase in max hit every so often attacks or whatever the thing does.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's gonna be insane. It's gonna be the coolest weapon that's ever hit the game, and I cannot wait to take it with me 2 places.
Yeah,
the Fang, the best in slot Slayer weapon. Period. I cannot wait to start using the Fang, especially if it's one-handed, which I'm not entirely sure if it is or isn't.
Yeah,
but you don't need either one of those things to train your Slayer to 75 or to start doing PvP.
Right.
So
I only brought that up because now we were starting to talk about end game gear and how those are the metas for things. But you're right. None of this applies. None of that's going to apply to you in the moment you're at when you're like, should I kill Zulrah? No.
Yeah. I think it's finally time we start talking about that. Like, what is PVM that you can get into? I have a little list of things that are like, what are end game PVM bosses? What do I start bossing with? So the first 2, the King and the Queen, Zulrah and Vorkath, or Vorkath and Zulrah, however you want to look at whatever. Zulrah technically has a disputed gender throughout the game, but it's not that important. So the King and the non-binary royalty that are Vorkath and Zulrah. 2 of the most consistent moneymakers in the game. 2 of the most consistent difficulty with learning bosses in the game. Learning Vorkath ain't easy. Learning Zulrah is an absolute nightmare. I hated learning Zulrah. It was a horrible experience learning Zulrah.
I have the interesting situation where I didn't really care for Zulrah until I got my hands on a T-bow, and I did most of my Zulrah learning with a T-bow. So I did a couple hundred kills, and those first kills were tough. I'm not gonna lie, but a T-bow really carries. But Vorkath, on the other hand, I was doing that with a blowpipe and Void, and that was the most frustrating boss I have had to learn besides the gauntlet. That is so frustrating early Vorkath, because it's such a money sink when you're dying time after time after time. You don't start making money at Vorkath for a while, because you'll be 10 deaths deep and it's 100k per death. So that's a mil. You just spent 1 million GP to die.
Is it really 100k to
it's
get your stuff back at
100k per death.
Oh my god.
Which is
You think the amount of times I die at Vorkath, I would know that. I was literally doing it the other day in VC, asking dumbass questions like, what are the chances Vorkath hits at 26? What are the chances Vorkath hits an 8? Because I would rather die than teleport out. Don't do that, by the way. If you don't have the money or the gear or the know-how, just leave when you're out of food.
Yes. I was going to say that. Bring a house tab, and please, if you even think you're gonna die, it's better just to telly out. Unless you're Oxie and you have like, you know, a 1 bill bank, you know, the 100K is not gonna matter. But like I was doing Vorkath and I had maybe a 20 mil bank.
Okay.
Total.
First of all, 1.7. Second of all, I've done Vorkath 700 times. Right? I know what I can and can't risk. When it's that point of like, now me talking about Vorkath is very different than when I had to first learn Vorkath, right? I wish there was ever a video of me like at my keyboard when I first learned. My fingers were so like my left hand was so locked on the F keys I needed to be on. Like you could shoot me in the leg and I would not move my fingers from where they needed to be. I was so tense and stressed for my first probably 25 Vorkath kills because you have to be able to react quickly. You have to kill the little face sucker thing that comes out. You have to be able to avoid the fire bombs. You have to be able to do the acid walk phase, which isn't even the same thing as like Wook's walking, but you have to be able to survive the acid walk and know how that goes. The tension and the stress that were my first probably 20 or 30 Vorkath kills. I remember the day that I got like 5 or 6 kills without dying across 2 trips. I was like DMing Scape and Link, like, dude, holy shit! I see no god down here but me. Like, I can kill Vorkath without dying now. Like, this feels good. Like the tension started to release a little bit.
There you go.
The better I got at the boss.
Yeah.
But holy shit, the first couple of times we had to do it, literally, I remember because my keyboard would be like tilted, and so would I a little bit. I don't know why, but I remember like at one point I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go take a walk, and had to go like this to like de-stress my hands because I was just so tense trying to do
white
it.
knuckle. It's insane
Literally,
how much like
white
Vorkath
knuckling
makes
learning
you tense up.
Learning PVM. And again, so when I say things like, what are the chances Vorkath hits a 14? The amount of times I've said that and immediately died, whatever. It happens. Who gives a shit? Let me go pay whatever money I have to pay and bring it back. I did not start like that. So it's, again, more meant to be confidence-inducing of, yes, this is hard to get into. Gauntlet. You bring up a good point with Gauntlet. It's not an easy encounter to learn because it is very different than other PVM that you have to do.
It's like the time commitment. It's a mini version of the fight caves. You have this preparation you have to go through, and that's easy. Like if Gauntlet was just preparing, I think I'd be like the number one.
Then it would
in
be
the world.
skilling. It wouldn't even be PVM.
You bring up a good point, but it's like you you spend like 8 to 9 minutes normal Gauntlet. If you're slow like me, preparing for this fight, you've got all your armor, you've got all your weapons, full inventory of food. And then this fight takes 2 minutes and you're dead. And, you know, it's just a frustrating thing to have. Like, I'm not kidding you. I probably have the same amount of deaths as I have kills. And I'm at like 46 or 50 KC. And that's normal Gauntlet. I think I'm at like 7 or 8 corrupted and no completions. So Gauntlet is hard, and it's fun though. That's the massive caveat to Gauntlet versus something like Vorkath. I don't find Vorkath to be something that I enjoy, but I really like Gauntlet. Like the challenge is rewarding because you do get better. You can get better. You know, you learn the mechanics. You learn how to count to 4. Something you should have learned when you were like 3 years old, but you know, it's fun. And it's content that I continually go back to. I haven't gotten many notable drops. I think I've got one of the armor seeds back when they were like 9 mil.
Michael got an armor seed one time, and when I tell you the bloodlust that entered this man's eyes, he was like, I just made 8 mil. We're like, oh God, Michael, welcome to PVM. He did not leave the Gauntlet for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Like,
It was, I think 8 mil is the most that I've made as an actual drop in my name. Because I've never gotten a purple, and I've not seen a split from a purple or any other boss for that matter. So besides maybe like, hey, here's all the loot we got from our 4-hour corp session, and you didn't get a sigil, and then you make like 3 mil. But that was, yeah. Actually, no, dude, I think it was 13 mil. I'm remembering now. I think it was back when they were super expensive.
Yeah.
So 13 mil, highest.
Those were not good times. Those were not good times because I needed the full crystal armor to start the Inferno. Those were some expensive days for Oxie. Let me tell you, those were some pricey days for me.
Yeah, I think that's when the Bofa. I don't know.
That when Bofa was like 250 or something like that?
Yeah,
Bofa was off of the chain expensive for a while.
Yes. It still is expensive. Don't get me wrong, but
it's down 100 mil from what it was. You know, in any case, Michael's right. Gauntlet is a lot of fun. Gauntlet also is really good to see a sense of progression. Gauntlet has a very visible, my prep is faster, this Hunliff is faster, I used less food, I went in with less food, I survived, I went in with tier 1 armor instead of tier 2 armor. You slowly make a lot of progress in Gauntlet. That does feel really good when you're consistently getting KC. And Michael's also right. Gauntlet, certainly not the easiest thing to learn. Corrupted Gauntlet, harder. Only because it's funny because you have less time and the boss mechanics are identical. Literally nothing changes about the Hunliff fight other than 1 extra tornado spawns per set of tornadoes. So instead of 1, you have 2 and so on and so on. The boss has 400 more hit points and the boss hits a little harder. Otherwise, exactly the same. It's like 2 different encounters. Gauntlet and Corrupted Gauntlet.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought you can walk through the tornadoes in regular and you can't walk through in Corrupted. Or
you can walk through. That has to do with, you're thinking of Theater of Blood.
Theater of Blood, okay.
Tornadoes.
Gotcha.
That has to do with like pathing and True Tile. We're not going to get into that this episode, but I absolutely encourage you to learn Gauntlet because Gauntlet it's not a safe death for hardcores, but you don't lose anything. If you die, there's no coffer fee. There is the social fee of having to open up the chest and wear your mithril plate legs of shame, but that is nothing compared to actually spending money if you fail the Gauntlet. So
it's like free money.
Yeah, it's no cost, no risk. There's no input either. Like you don't bring potions, so it really is. Gauntlet is pure profit. Even if you fail, you're still making money at Gauntlet.
Now, the stat requirement probably is what we should talk about because yes, it is a more of an end game boss. You have to have Song of the Elves done. But if you're rolling up trying to do Gauntlet and you're like base 75s combat, you know, because we talk about the trifecta all the time, you're going to have a hard time.
I would argue that base 75s is a great place to start.
Really?
Here's why. Base 75s in all 3 melee styles, range, mage, probably 80 hit points by the time you get there. 70 prayer at least, and if you got that money 77 to get augury and rigor, because rigor's life-changing. Like you don't even, augury sure helps some places. Rigor, dude, holy shit, night and day. I love the rigor prayer.
I would venture to say don't even try the Gauntlet without those 2, but that's a different story.
Yeah, I mean it's doable. Michael's right. It's not fun to do it without rigor and augury, but it's doable. I would say base 75s is a great place to start. And I mean start everything. Start Gauntlet, start Vorkath, start Zulrah. Ask people to take you to Dagannoth Kings. Ask people to take you to God War's dungeon. Go to Sarachnis. Go in the wilderness and faff about with the demi-bosses out there. Like, base 75s is perfect because there's only room for improvement at base 75s. You're only going to hit harder. You're only going to hit more often with the stats improving as you train them. Bossing is not great XP per hour, but there's still room for improvement, which can open up new goals. I could hit this boss a hell of a lot harder if I had 80 strength as opposed to 75 strength. So I know what I'm going to train, right?
Yep.
It's a good way to start setting goals, right? And truly, a lot of the bosses in OSRS, let's even make it as broad as all of the bosses in OSRS, are less about damage and more about knowing how to do it. That's going to be a bold statement, especially for people who PVM, right?
Yeah, you're getting booed. I can hear him now.
I mean, sure. I mean, sure. There's a big difference between like bringing full Darox or a T-bow to Giant Mole versus monk's robes and a dragon longsword, which I don't know who would ever wear that to Giant Mole, but we're not going to judge anyone who ever would and make a YouTube video about it. We're not going to judge them for it because we don't
Link in
judge
the
people
description.
No, what? That's absolutely not going to be it. Hell no, we're not linking that in the description, you monster.
It's already there in every description.
Oh,
YouTube channel, baby.
But while there is definitely a difference in what the gear and what the stats will allow, there's a reason people get 46 combat infernal capes. There's a reason people can do Zulrah on Iron Men with garbage stats and garbage gear. It's not because they have all the gear that's allowing them to do it. It's because they know how to do the boss. And this is one of like the last points that I did want to bring up for this whole thing. Learning any piece of PVM content is an invitation for failure. Regardless of what you're trying to learn,
It's deep.
you are inviting failure in. I'm not trying to sound like some Sigma fucking chat or whatever. Ironically, this is more of like a therapy talk than anything, but we'll use the ultimate example of failure on failure on failure on motherfucking failure. The Inferno. Every single one of you, if you have a second fire cape, attempt the Inferno. That's the point I have come to realize. Attempt the Inferno. Are you going to get the cape with base 75s? Hell no, you are not. You are going to struggle a lot. But you're going to struggle with anything PVM related when you first get into it. Longtime listeners of the show, right? If you've been around since the early episodes, or you're one of the old timers in TNL who knew us pre-Xpwaste or whatever, you know, what was it like when I got my first Fazani's Nightmare KC? What was the process like when I started learning Theater of Blood? How many times have I spoken about counting to 2 being the most difficult thing in the game? What was it like for all of you who've been here for a long ass time? Who remembers my first Zulrah? Who remembers my first Chambers? Right? I don't know if you know this. When me and you and Scape and Link and Immortal went to God Wars that night, the 24-hour stream, that was my first time at Krill, Sarah, and Kriara. I had never even seen those bosses before. The only reason why I had been to Bandos is because Ralph took me to Bandos for like 8 kills before I died.
Nice.
So those were all of my first times encountering those bosses. At back when we all did that together, right? Learning new bosses is an invitation for failing. The night I got my 1KC Hunlith, I had failed the corrupted gauntlet 4 times before that, like back to back to back. We almost failed when we got the 1KC.
I was gonna say you should have died.
It was no food. It was either me or Hunlith. I had no food. I had no prayer.
That.
One of us was gonna die. It didn't matter who.
That was epic.
And I say attempt the Inferno because you will become a better player for attempting it, right?
I can vouch for that.
I don't have a cape, right? I'm gonna throw that out there. It's no secret that I don't have a cape, right? I am 10 times the player I am now, having been to Zuck 3 times in a week, than I was 10 months ago when I first started. I listened to the most recent episode, or one of the first episodes of Xpwaste. I listened to the pilot recently, just for fun. Literally 10 times the player. Not because of my stats, not because of my gear, because of the knowledge I have gained from trying and failing over and over and over again. I have made over 500,000 tackle attempting the Inferno, which is a shitload of tackle.
Wow.
Like I have failed I don't even have a counter how many times I've failed the Inferno, right? Anything you do that you will learn is an invitation for failure. Do it anyways. Because when you learn how to do it, regardless of what gear you have, you're going to be a better player. When I finally killed Zulrah, I was a better player because I could react to prayer switches a lot quicker. When I finally got comfortable with Vorkath, I was a better player because my F key switches became a lot more mechanical. When I got comfortable with Theater of Blood, I was a better player because pathing made a lot more sense. When to eat, how to move, attack cycles on weapons. When I'm done in the Inferno, I really will be 10 times the player that I was when I first started this grind, because the amount of things you learn and have to learn. Like I said earlier, people were teasing me for saying a tick early because I think in game ticks now. Like, it is anything you attempt and anything you fail at, whether it's an infernal cape, fire cape, doesn't matter. You're going to be a better player when you come out on the other side of it. Even if you spend the 2.2 mil trying to learn a boss and still fail every single time, because the damn death coffer fee is 100K. You know, if you have to make the run of shame back to Nightmare a dozen times or more to learn the boss and still spend a shitload of money at the Fazani's coffer, you will be a better player. So while it's going to be demotivating, it's going to be worth it. Just do it. Just get in there and fail. I'm not kidding. I really am not kidding about the Inferno. If you have a fire cape you're comfortable sacrificing, just send it. If you plank at wave 7 10 times in a row, eventually you're going to learn how to blob flick. Eventually you're going to, which is going to make the small things that add up, just like we talked about in Gauntlet, the small things that add up when learning Inferno are applicable other places, right? I am more than ready for Tombs of a Masket. I have been for a long time. But now that I'm on the cusp of an Infernal cape, I don't give a shit what you throw at me with TOA. I'm getting KC on the first day. Even with the invocations, I don't give a shit. Might be, and again, why is TOA going to be difficult? Because we don't know what we're doing.
Right, it's new content.
We're going to fail TOA when it first comes out. We're going to get KC, but we're going to fail TOA. We're going to die in rooms. We're going to look like dumbasses. Imagine what the first day of Chambers of Zarek must have been like. Imagine what the first day of Theater of Blood. Go watch the videos of the first TOB completion. Look at how silly those dudes look on day 1 trying to get some of these bosses done. Look at how absolutely busted their outfits and things are, because like that's not what you take to TOB. But nobody knew that. Right? Nobody knew that. Set yourself up for failure. I promise you, when you are done failing and you understand what you're doing, you will be a significantly better player. You will have significantly more confidence in PVM. You know, I remember when I got my first Zulrah kill, I was invincible. I could go kill anything, anywhere, didn't matter. It was so much fun. I remember after that, I went on a bit of a power trip because Ralph loaned me a Twisted Bow for my second KC. Because as you guys know, I don't take loans to do it with myself the first time. And then afterwards, he gave me a T-Bow in max range to get KC number 2, night and day. I was literally like, what the hell is this? All my friends were like, yeah, you should have been doing this since day 1. I'm like, it wouldn't have been as fun.
Yeah.
Fail, learn. I'm telling you, just I know it sounds preachy, but I've failed a lot in this game. Let me tell you, just try it and just fail at it, and you'll be better on the other side.
Yeah. I think very rarely do you see success without failure trailing behind. In the sense that, you know, it's very rare that you see 1 KC completions without any sort of practice. So I think you're absolutely right. And I don't think it's preachy. I think it's hella motivating. And there's always some place you can start, whether that's Sarachnis. You're failing a lot at Sarachnis. Well, buddy, one day you're going to look back and be like, man, Sarachnis is easy because you've done something incrementally harder, which RuneScape is great because there's always going to be something a little bit incrementally harder down the road that you can do.
I remember sweating my balls off at Sarachnis when I would go. And I would get like 2 or 3 kill trips max. My last Sarachnis trip, I think I got 47 kills and was pissed I didn't get 50 because I ran out of prayer. Again, the difference in gear and know-how and comfort, which is what the failure will bring, is comfort. You know, Michael, you ate a lot of food yesterday in the fight caves. The more comfortable you get with PVM, the more comfortable you'll be like, hit a 40, bitch, I dare you. Like, because you know nothing will, right?
Yeah.
Getting comfortable at lower HP, getting comfortable with lower prayer, right? That'll come through failing and realizing, well, I probably didn't need to eat so many strawberries because technically nothing can kill me. Like, I'm not at risk of dying from anything.
Right.
So I can ride lower HP for a little bit. You literally will only learn that through failing. Zulrah is another good example. You can't hit a 44. I know you can't hit a 44 because your max hits a 41 or a 43, whatever it is. Like, don't chance Zulrah with 44 hit points, please. but I don't know. It comes through time. It comes through practice, and it comes through doing it incorrectly a bajillion times. And if you ever do see like, oh, someone got a KC on their first attempt, look at what else they've done.
Yeah.
Right. If I get a Tombs of a Masket completion on my first attempt and you don't, look at the difference in our accounts. This isn't me trying to flex that I'm some super mega giga chat elite PVMer, but I've done a lot of things. I've failed a lot of things. Need I remind you what my first Chambers of Zarek was like?
Yeah.
Need I show you my Theater of Blood Board of Shame? You know, when I had 98 KC or 98 deaths or 98 like attempts, wipes, and like 4 completions. You know, people learn everything a little bit differently and they get into everything a little bit differently. If I just started Crazy Archaeologist right now, it would be an absolute joke. But when I first started doing it, it felt a little bit more intense because I was in the wilderness. It was like I was trying to make money. It was a lot of fun. So
the only thing I can add, because I think you said it beautifully, the only thing I can add to this conversation is the experience of somebody who's been playing this game for a long time, who has the skills somewhere inside, and just lack the confidence. That's me. And so if you're out there and you're saying, yeah, I could, you know, I'm base 90s, I could probably do it, but I'm just, you know, I'm nervous. Take it from me, give it a try. It was not until our Wilderness Bingo last year, mind you, 4,000 hours into this account, I had not killed Chaos Fanatic till last year. And I was nervous to do so. And it got easier. Now I'm like 250 KC because I was going for a stupid drop that we didn't get. That's not the point. It was nerve-wracking because I had never done it before. And Oxie said it beautifully.
I'm pretty certain we were on the same team. And it's actually funny to look back at some of these things. To watch someone who's pushing a max cape go, dude, I don't know if I can kill this boss. Should I bring my twisted bow? And me be like, oh my god, you're in level 44 wilderness. Don't take a twisted bow. Are you kidding me? Like that exchange to me is humorous because there wasn't a risk of Michael dying to Chaos Fanatic. But he didn't know that. I knew that. I knew he was going to be fine. But he did not know that at the time.
Yeah.
You know, I did not know there was not a risk of me dying at my first God Wars when I went. The people who took me knew.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that. I thought I was going to be Armadillo. Are you kidding me? No thanks. I thought I was dead for sure. Even Sarah, you know, I couldn't run around the room like I watched Twitch streamers do. There were 5 of us. How are we all supposed to run around the room? Like, just because you don't think you can do something doesn't mean you can't do it initially, especially if you've learned how to do other things, you know?
Yeah.
And Michael has attempted the Inferno. What did you learn from attempting the Inferno? Now, to give a little bit of context for people who either have or have not done the Inferno, Michael lost all 3 pillars by like wave 16 or 17. Like, I don't think Michael killed a ranger with the pillar active. And no pillars means the run's over, basically. But we still progressed beyond that. What did you learn from that attempt in the Inferno?
I think it gave me confidence because it took something that I thought was so monolithic, so outside of the realm of possibilities, and it gave me a tiny glimmer of hope to say, I made it this far. What more could I do with more practice? You know, that's with no practice, no knowledge, just sending it. What could I do if I really put my head down and tried? And that's applicable for anything. And it doesn't have to be just RuneScape. That's applicable to life. That's applicable to your goals and aspirations outside of this game, whether that's with a video game, whether that's with your job. Just, you know, find out. The saying goes, f around and find out. See what happens.
You should censor yourself there just to make it seem like you finally said the F word.
Sure, whatever.
One time. But I guess the final point before we go to break, thank God this is episode 73 and we can get away with really long main title content because it's a special episode. Because we're pushing like 2 hours on the recording track and we haven't even gotten to the break yet, which I know a little bit of that's going to be cut out because I may or may not have gone on a dinosaur rant for a little while. But
hey, if you want to see that, check out our Patreon.
Yeah, we'll be on Patreon. Oxie's paleo rant. But the final point, and Michael already knows what this is going to be before I even said it. Meet people that do PVM with. Just meet even solo bosses. Meet people that do PVM with.
Yeah.
Honest to God. Like the event we have coming up this weekend, just talk to people. No question is a stupid question. Just meet people that do player versus monster with. You know, the people who are the same people who are trying to tell me how the Zulrah Jad phase worked are running my timers at the Inferno for Zuck.
Mm-hmm.
Meet people that do PVM with, and you'll learn a lot more than you were not expecting to. And you might hear different things than what we've told you, and that's fine.
Yeah.
We're not omnipotent. We don't know every single boss in the game. And we certainly give advice that is not always in line with what other people would give.
Sure.
That's
absolutely
fine.
correct.
Meet other people and get different opinions. Learn how to do things differently. I'm doing the Inferno in TNL, and I'm not the only one. There are a lot of other people attempting it right alongside with me. There's Jamie, there's M, there's Kyle, there's Darkside. Jake has been dipping his toes into the Inferno. We all do things a lot differently, right? Watching me do the Inferno, where I'm sweating my balls off trying to two-tick and, you know, flick everything to make sure I'm okay. That's how my teachers have taught me to do it. Mm-hmm. If you watch Jamie do the Inferno, she does the one shot at a time method. Doesn't give a shit, will get a cape in 4 hours, does not care. One shot at a time is the safest way for her to do it, because that's what her teachers have told her to do. And the craziest part is we're both making the same amount of progress. She's not bad at the Inferno. She's still pushing past wave 63, you know? So when you meet people, they're going to teach you how to do things differently. That may not be the same as Michael and I have said. Go with them, embrace it, truly. Ask every stupid question imaginable, because you're going to get answers that are not stupid, even if it sounds dumb as shit.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, just ask the questions. Meet people to PVM with. Well, as we always say, even if it's not in TNL, if you're a part of a different community, I know a lot of the other podcasts have Discords.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Wilderness Podcast has a massive Discord of people who PVM all the time. I love listening to the Wilderness Podcast because it's like watching us in a different dimension. Like you're Dills and I'm Heartless. Listening to you and Dills on the show was like listening to a podcast with two Michaels.
Same person. We're exactly the same person.
So it's just interesting how similar some of those it's in the similarities between the two are interesting. And maybe that's a community you want to join. Maybe you like a YouTuber and you want to join theirs. Maybe you like a streamer. Maybe you're a PvPer and you want to get into PVM. You know, like just find a community, find a group of people. Again, I'm a little biased. Come hang out with us. But if you don't want to, find any group of people and learn to do things with other folks. I literally would not be where I am today were it not for meeting people. It's funny, I said it in the first episode that if you told me I was going to be doing Inferno when I first met people, I would not have believed you. That is still true today. That is, and I'm getting this fucking cape soon. I swear to God, it's coming. And I still would not have believed you all that time ago. So that's all I have, Michael. What do you got?
Let's send them off. Thanks, guys, for listening to this part. If you stick around, we'll have some more content for you after the break.
Hello. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Simon Templeton, owner, operator, sole proprietor, and chief executive officer of Simon Templeton's totally legitimate archaeological expeditions. You've actually caught me out here at an interesting time. I'm doing work for the Varrock Museum, and as a matter of fact, you've come by at just the right time. You see that pyramid? At the top rests a smaller, shinier pyramid. It's not a very tough trek up, but you see, that's my problem. Last time I tried to go up there, I really hurt my back on the way down, so I haven't been feeling up to the climb lately. But that's where you come in. You see, I've got a guy. He's willing to pay top dollar for those pyramid tops. So I'll make you a deal. For every pyramid top you get me, I'll toss you 10,000 gold. That's right, that's a 1 with 4 zeros at the end of it. No diminishing returns, just cold hard cash. So what do you think? We got a deal? Yep, wait, don't answer that. Just meet me here at my base camp outside the pyramid tomorrow morning. If you get lost on your way over, the pyramid is right next to the edge of the world. Literally, there's nothing there. You stare at the void stares back. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Can't wait to do business with you, partner.
Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break because I know that I sure did. It is now time to shout out our patrons who support us over on patreon.com/xpwaste. If you're in the Wise Old Man tier or above, you get a personal shout out in each episode. Starting out with the Wise Old Man tier, big thank you to Scape Caution, Elagio, Ballimer, Basket, Benjamin R, Pork Jerry, Bloodman, aka Young Kyle, Hadadbod, C. Gladney, Morty, Cream Tam, Drum TXT, Duke Bradley, D. Falconer, Flying Castiel, Forestry, Fortimus, Francine 1225, Jack M, Jake W, Jerry, Jordy, Potato Pancake, Posh Padre, Mag Morpheus, Mima, 999999, Ninja Turtle Ruby, Not a Hippo, Obsidian Paladin, Okami Damashi. I think I said that correctly. Pine Martin 709, Ice Swallow. I did want to shout out Brandon, aka Ice Swallow. I said it all in one without pausing because this man was out here repping Xpwaste in the game just randomly. He's like, "Hey guys, do you like podcasts?" And they're like, "Yeah." He's like, "Check out Xpwaste." I'm like, "Brandon, just for that, I won't put a pause in your name this week." So thank you. Russa Fury, Salted Snake, Soggy Waffles, Skalaxin, Sholveg, Solaire OS, Sweet and Tangy, The Chungaroo, T-Pace, Valdon, and Zach without a K. Thank you so much to everybody in the Wise Old Man tier once again. Moving on to our KBD tier, big shout out to my dad, Oxie's dad, your dad, Solaire's dad, all of our dad. GIM Stones, Kroll, the Lord Jake himself, our third favorite supporter, Ralph, Rylithian, Spartan Fire, and Toast No Toast. Again, thank you so much to everyone who supports us over on Patreon. Like I said at the beginning, if you want to join the Patreon, patreon.com/xpwaste. So now it is time for the community question of this week. Last week we asked you guys, when did you know you left the mid game, or what is your goal to leave the mid game? Starting us out with Pork Jerry, he says, I felt like I got out once I had the Quest Cape, Fire Cape, Imbued God Cape, and Ava's Assembler. Still feel like a noob most of the time, but at least I can attempt most things now. If that isn't spot on with what we talked about in this episode, I don't know what is. Lagio says, I'm 2100 total and still feel like I'm a mid-game account. Aside from a lot of Kraken and Vorkath KC, I don't really PVM much, so I relate to Michael, I'm a late game skiller. Awesome. Mockcat says, despite playing this game on and off since summer of 2004, I have never left the mid game, and according to some, I have never been in the mid game. This game is about the journey, not the destination. I tend to disagree with that statement only when it relates to Mockcat, because they primarily play a UIM, and that is hard. So you can speak all you want about not being in the mid game. Whatever you're doing on UIM, that's a different story. So give yourself some credit. Vince says, my goal for leaving the mid game would be to at least have a quest cape and all the hard diaries done. That way, your character is more well-rounded and you can choose what to focus on in the end. I like that. Bruce Lee 975 says, when I achieve 99 Slayer, as it returned the money required to fund any boss equipment that is required. So leaving the mid game, you have to get 99 Slayer. Boys, it's going to be a while for me. Jake AICSTP says hitting base 85s and getting 250 plus KC in Nod God Wars dungeon bosses. For me is when I feel I left and I just am dipping my toes into the early endgame. And finally, on Spotify, Mac says never left. Late game stats, base 80s, mid game bank, and mindset. Hell yeah. Thank you to everyone who answered the question over on Spotify. Now, moving over to our YouTube replies. Jordy says, my goal to leave the mid game is the moment I achieve the quest cape, hard diaries, and when I have a general understanding of game mechanics, maybe base 80s, done and tried most of entry-level bossing. That sounds familiar. Valeric says, to me, being in the end game is more about your skill set than your account level or KCs. I want to have the skill set to tick manipulate or do hollowed poker, even if I never do it again after learning it. Similarly with bossing, I want the skill set to comfortably jump into any boss whenever I feel with whatever gear I have. The end game to me is about being comfortable, not necessarily perfect, just doing anything on RuneScape. When Foe and Alfie built their group Ironman, within a week, they were doing 3 ticking or whatever rudimentary bossing, and I feel like they were doing endgame content at 1k total level. But at 2k total, I still feel like I'm working hard and stuck in the mid game. That's a mood.
But that's also what? That's when Foe and Alfie, people who have been playing this game every single day for 8 or 9 years and have mastered every element of this game, made group Iron Man accounts, who knew how to play Iron Man mode efficiently.
It's true.
That is, you don't know what you can't know. Is it you can't know what you don't know?
Yeah.
Whatever it is. So it's less a matter of, oh, I'm not in a good place and I've not put 30,000 hours into RuneScape. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
That team probably had collectively 100,000 hours in RuneScape between the 5 of them. 100%. They would have had to.
I mean, you're not wrong. Moving on to Aram says, my goal to leave the mid game on the groupie is to not let the 50s blues get to me once I get there. Hell yeah. Kyle says, I see the end of the mid game for me being Barrow's Gloves, Quest Cape, and Fire Cape. Once all three are obtained, you enter the end game. RuneScape is great at providing people with a wide, horizontal end game progression. It's very true. The Pixie says, when your best in slot setup isn't that far from actual best in slot. Example, Arms versus Ancestral, Mage Cape 1 versus Mage Cape 2, Dragon Boots versus Prims. You can stretch the range as well for some items, which I might. That's a fair assessment. All right, guys, that is the end of all the replies we have for this week's community question. Thank you so much to everyone who did answer. If you'd like to answer this week's question, it will be, what boss are you going to try first? What'll be your failure into success moment, as Oxie said it. Oxie, I think it is time for you to do your segment now.
You know it, baby. It's Achievement of the Week time. We actually do have a pretty light week this week. So starting things off in the achievement cape, sort of like miscellaneous achievements, because again, we still have not thought of a good name for them. Mima hit a clue scroll milestone. I'll have you. What is it? 100 master treasure trails for the clue sack. That's pretty neat. It's a fun thing to achieve. We also do have at least one quest cape here. We have Silverback with his quest cape. He's also got the Zulra pet flexing with 1785 total level. So that's pretty cool. And then finally, just because it is kind of a light week, Kyle finished Hero's Quest, which he said it doesn't seem like a big achievement, but back in the day, he would always put it off. So, he's just happy he got it done today. So was it today? Yeah, it was today. So congratulations to you. In the PVM achievement category, we have a few of them. We have Eisenberg with his first fire cape, which apparently got cut down to the absolute wire. Man has no supplies, 6 hit points. Like he's pushing through for this cape. Took him about an hour and 40 minutes, but he did it. So congratulations to you, Eisenberg, on your first fire cape. We have Baxley, said the name correctly this time, got his first gauntlet KC this week. And finally, the real CMH with his first fire cape as well. Congratulations to you. We also have some other things here. A couple people with some Barrows KC milestones, a couple combat achievements, a fun group Iron Man team from Diener, where they went by themselves, just the 4 of them, got a 20 kill trip. Finally, in the skilling category, we are a little bit beefier this week, so to speak. We have Steefy with 99 thieving. which is pretty impressive. And I'm pretty certain this is on Steefy's UIM as well. So love to see that. We also have Pine Martin 709 with 99 fire making. Not sure if this is an Iron Man account or not, but he's got the full Pyromancer, the Phoenix, and the Dragon Axe. So I would guess Iron Man. Either way, cool as heck. So that wraps up our achievement of the week. Like I said, pretty relaxed achievement of the week, but that's okay. More things are coming, surely, especially with Raids 3 coming out. I'm sure there's going to be a long list of people who get their 1KCs.
Yeah.
At a lot of bosses, whether it's, Jad, Zulra, Vorkath, Gauntlet, TOA, Cox. It's coming. So I'm excited for the coming weeks for achievement of the week. But that does indeed wrap up this segment. That means it is time for a question that some people might call fun.
We have a couple postcards.
Oh, do we now?
Yeah.
Who are they from?
It's kind of like the postcards we've been getting in the last couple of weeks have literally been from Oxie when he was in Europe, but they're just like hella delayed. So got 2 postcards from, this one is the Little Mermaid statue in Copenhagen. Is that how you say that?
Yeah. Copenhagen.
And then the wine Muscavernin. Probably butchered the heck out of that. So
it's Wien from Vienna.
Wien from Vienna.
No,
So-
the Wien is how you say it.
Oh,
Maybe it's Vienna. I'm not entirely sure, but it's Vienna, Austria is where it's from.
Oh,
I'm not entirely sure what that building is. Have completely forgotten at this point.
it is beautiful though. Holy smokes.
Yeah, that's Vienna for you. Very opulent, very beautiful.
Very beautiful.
Yeah.
The sucky part is half of the question on the bottom just got like put a sticker on it. So unless you
What?
remember what you asked.
No, let me see that postcard. What? There's no way, dude. Oh, come on.
There's multiple stickers actually. So it's very interesting why they would just cover something up. Oh, we
That's
could just
so
take
weird.
them off. 2 seconds. We're going to reveal what they were trying to censor here. Oxie with his cuss words. They can't leave the country like that. Literally nothing. There's nothing on these. Okay. I've remedied it. Now I can see the question.
Wow.
All right. Fun question time. Are you ready, Oxie? Because I don't know if you
Sure,
remember what you wrote, but I have not read it.
100% do not. No.
Here we go. Fun question. And no, the fun question is not how can Oxie think of all these fun questions? Like crazy on, like he's on vacation, but it's actually time to record. This is not. I'm not.
I'll know to pay someone to just type out my postcards next time I ever send them to Michael, or I'm gonna send them to myself because I don't think Michael's ever had to read handwritten words before. My handwriting isn't great, not gonna lie, but man,
Terrible. You just like combine letters in very small. I get that it's small, right? So if this was like a normal paper, you probably could write a bit bigger and it would be easy to
bro, I'm gonna send
say.
you 30 postcards next time with numbers on the top, and you'll be able to lay them out, and I'll write the fun question one letter at a time on postcards.
Oh, that would be epic.
That would be awful. What do you mean?
Okay. So the fun question is, you're attending a very important business meeting. You decide your company's next.
Just put the postcard on camera. Sweet Jesus. All right. You're attending a very important business meeting to decide your company's next move. Who is your OSRS boss business partner, and what OSRS fashionscape are you wearing to the meeting?
Thank you, Oxie.
Dear God, man.
I just want to point out that this is move right there. Move.
I would like you to also reference where on the postcard I had to write that, Michael,
That's very true.
and how much other things I had written above it.
Oh yeah,
Come on now.
It's very nice.
Come on now. How about you learn to read handwriting, sir?
I'll practice every single day. You need to send
Good.
me a new postcard every single day of my life so that I can get good at reading your handwriting. So you're attending a very important business meeting. Who's your OSRS boss partner, and what's the fashionscape you're wearing? Obviously you have to wear this is just a baseline for all of my fashionscape, but you have to wear the party hat with specs. Like that is just peak OSRS business wear.
Mhm.
It might just be that I'm biased because that's what the wise old man wears. But to me, peak business fashion is blue party hat and specs. Now, whether or not you want to go actual business attire, because you can, it's interesting that in this game of medieval adventure, you can look straight up like a businessman. They have a briefcase. You have different outfits that have you. I'm pretty sure you can have a tuxedo, and if you can't, then like the league's gear usually is suitable for dressing up. Like
there's also like the elegant gear that you can wear as well from Clue Rewards.
That's very true. Yeah, so you can look hella nice. And I might just go that route. I think wearing the elegant or wearing the twisted the twisted leagues, I forget what they called it, but it was the reward that you could get. I want to say it's the Clue Hunter, but it's definitely not.
It's the Relic Hunter, I think is what it's called. Twisted Relic Hunter, Shattered, and Trailblazer, whatever they are, outfits.
That's the one. Now, as far as a business partner, I don't know if I want to go with somebody who I think will be a good partner strategically, or if I want somebody who's going to be intimidating. Because depending on the meeting, you may need some backup to be able to like intimidate them into what you're trying to sell. So like, say you roll up with General Grardor. He's just this massive dude. And it's like the mafia type thing. You know, you've got some muscle behind you and you're like, yeah, this is my partner. And they're like, crap, we can't screw over this guy. Like if they did want to, you know, do some shady business practices and screw you over, now they're like, we've seen who he's working with. That's not an option. So they're either not going to take the deal or they're going to be the best, you know, this is going to be the best business venture you've ever done. So who my partner is actually kind of makes or breaks it, because I don't know that anything in this game is going to fit General Grardor except for what he's wearing. And in that case, I'm going full Bandos. I'm going full Bandos with a scythe, you know, best in slot, well, previously best in slot melee gear, just to look like an absolute unit, I think, because I want to go intimidation factor rather than like, hey, I'm here to outsmart you in my affairs. So that's me. What do you got?
For me, I'm not really going for either outsmarting or intimidating. I'm just looking for a good deal. You know, it'll be good, charismatic, good conversation. Maybe we'll make whatever it has to be. It's the company's next move. So maybe it's a merger. Maybe we're purchasing something. Maybe we are looking for a huge sale. I'm not a businessman. I don't know words. That'll help with, you know, the company's progress or whatever. As far as what I'm wearing, funny enough, I kind of like what I'm wearing right now. I don't think I'm going to wear a helmet or a cape, though, because I think that might get a little distracting. But I think a nice piece of, like, I really like the way the Third Age armor looks. I really like the way it looks as far as, like, you know, the, like, it's sleek. It's kind of minimalist. It looks super cool. And you can tell, like, there's some wealth behind that. Like, I mean business. It's like wearing an Armani suit. You know, like, I mean business with what I'm wearing here. Wristwear, gotta talk about wristwear, gotta talk about accessories.
Oh gosh,
if you're not wearing accessory, if you're trying to look nice, you're not wearing accessories, get out. Different shampoo and conditioner in separate bottles. Always wear some sort of conditioner or always wear some sort of accessory with what your look is. Get a facial cleanser, you know, floss your teeth. Like, you gotta look fancy here for a meeting, right? It's funny. I was like, I'm gonna wear what I'm wearing right now. I like the way the regen bracelet looks, like the regen bracelet or the tormented bracelet. Kind of like gives the look of a good watch. You know, I don't really wear watches ever, but I think if I had to really flex, I probably would. Boots, I might go with the climbing boots G, just because I don't think I'd be bold enough to wear mole slippers to a business meeting. But I mean, you never know. It depends on who my boss I'm taking with me is. I don't know about. I'm not wearing a cape because I think that would get awkward to sit on. But I might wear the adventure fedora hat, whatever thing it is that you see me wear in like most of my things. I might wear the hat with me. I wouldn't want to wear a Slayer helm that covers my face.
No,
you know, And
Unless you're going full Mandalorian.
Yeah, it's just I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold. That's not what we're going for here, right? We were messing around with some Fashionscape looks last night, and I think armor can be super cool to wear. So I think armor is going to be the move for me. That the third age plate body, third age plate legs, you know, a nice little regen or tormented bracelet, and then, you know, maybe some nice shoes to go along with that, just to tip the hat as one more little thing. And then, you know, as far as what neckwear, maybe the what's it, like the Berserker necklace ornament kit, where it's kind of got all those like red beads across the front.
That'd be cool.
Maybe something like that. You know, it's impressive, but it's a little bit more subtle than like the Anguish ornament kit.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe an Amulet of the Damned, maybe an occult necklace might look cool. You know, you don't want it to be too distracting, right? As far as what boss I'm taking with me, that's always, I mean, that was a little bit of a tougher one. I did think General Gardor, just because I think that would be fun to sit in on a business meeting with him, but not in the sense of like, oh yes, this is my big muscle man, blah, blah, blah. I think another fun business partner would be somebody like Zanuck. Zanuck would probably make a good partner. She's not really a boss necessarily. So if we're thinking like quest bosses, I think, oh God, who am I thinking of? No, not a quest boss. Archaeologist would be fun just because of what he screams. That'd be a good time.
He does the talking.
So, yeah, he does all the talking. I'm just sort of there to look nice. No, I think maybe like an RFD boss, maybe like a Desert Treasure boss. Maybe bring, you know, that would be something a little bit spooky. You put like Dessus in a suit, the vampire boss.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God, that's it. Vanstrom. Vanstrom is my business partner. Vanstrom Claus, 100%. That's the man I'm taking with me because that's technically a boss, and not an easy boss. You want to talk about getting your toes into PVM? Jesus Christ, sins of the Father beat me left and right when I try to do it.
Who's the lady vampire from
Venescula?
Yeah, she's intense, and
she is.
She would make a good business.
She is pretty intense. Let me tell you.
Yeah, she would make a cool business partner.
She would. But yeah, as far as bosses go, I think I have to go with Vanstrom and the nice clean armor set for me. Yeah,
right on.
I think I wrote that because the hotel we were in Vienna, there was a lot of business people there, so it was weird to like wake up in the morning, like go to the elevator with your pajamas on, and somebody in like a full 3-piece suit's already ready to go at like 7 a.m. You're like, okay. I
do appreciate that all of these questions came from experiences you were having while you were there. That's kind of fun. It makes it more enjoyable to read them. We had another postcard, but I don't think. Oh, you do have a fun question.
There's a fun question on every postcard you got from me, Michael. I promise you.
So there is a fun question on here. Okay, so we'll wait for this one for next week, and then we'll be done with all of the backlog of questions, and we'll look to you guys. So if you have any fun questions, please either email them to us, DM them to us, or just send me a postcard. That's the preferred method, is a postcard, because I do check the PO box literally every week.
We also have a Discord you can put them into if you don't want to. Michael really loves postcards.
That's
true. Send postcards.
So if you're on the video version of the podcast, back there is a corkboard with all the postcards. I'm gonna have to get a bigger corkboard, or we'll just rotate them out. But I don't really want to rotate them out. I want to get a bigger corkboard. So make me buy a bigger corkboard is all I'm asking. All right, folks, if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. If you want to check out all we have to offer, it is going to be in the description below. You can join our Patreon, patreon.com/Xpwaste. You can buy our merch, xpwaste.shop. Very simply put. Follow me on Twitch. I stream pretty much consistently once or maybe twice a week. Maybe you can follow Oxie on Twitch and see if he ends up sending his Inferno run on Twitch this week. Well, you won't know that because he probably already did. But follow for any future content from Oxie and I. You can send us a postcard, like I said. The address is in the description if you scroll all the way down. But I think that is it. Again, thank you so much, guys, for listening. Love you very much, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Happy episode 73, everyone.
Happy 73.